The Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2021 Sanderson Farms Championship, DraftKings picks and preview, plus some bets towards the end of the show. As always, smash the like button of the episode. In the comment section, give me your single favorite play in the $6,000 range this week on DraftKings, and then subscribe to Mayo Media Network and leave an Apple rating and review. If you haven't done that yet, I could use the support, okay? All these fantasy football podcasts coming, bumping me down the charts. We need the support, which means we need the reviews, which means we can go back up inside the top 5, which would be pretty nice. All right, thank you for your support on that. Also, fantasynational.com. Obviously, fantasynational.com/Mayo gets you that 20% off. All the stats, all the tools. If you like to research golf and have a computer make your lineups for you when you tell it what to do, Fantasy National is the spot you want to be. If you love Fantasy National, already a member there, but also love football, runthesims.com/Mayo for that discount is where you want to be. Basically the same principle, where you just tell the computer what you want to see, and if you need to do all your research, you can do it at runthesims.com. No golf listeners league this week. It is a football listeners league, but I have been generous enough to put it in the description of this video and podcast if you want to go play in that. Same rules, $15 max, 3 entry, no rake, best tournament on DraftKings. You may as well play it. Better than throwing your money away in the Millionaire Maker. Put it that way. You have a chance to win this one. So the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Open. Joining me from FTNDaily.com, FTNBets.com. You might know him as Axis on Twitter, but I know him best as Bryan DeCortee. What's going on, man? First time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Pat. Glad to be here. Coming off pretty exciting Ryder Cup for me. I was on the U.S. side, so that was nice for a change. Last couple outs, so yeah, happy to be here. Sanderson Farms, pretty solid list of golfers up top, so should be fun.
Interesting bit of golfers at the very top.
That's fair.
What do you know about CC Jackson? Because when I went back and looked at, I remember watching this tournament every year. I can't remember if it's 15 or 16. That's the drivable par 4, where there's this one tree off to the left-hand side, and whoever I bet on puts it to the left of that tree out of bounds every single year. So that's always fun to witness. But it's a par 72. It's pretty long, but it's pretty easy at the same time. And we've seen just two completely different types of skill sets. When you're like, Cody Gribble one. Remember the Gribbler? The lefty?
I do.
I don't think he golfs anymore.
I actually went and looked, and yeah, I did not see stats for him for I think 2019 maybe is the last I saw. Yeah, Sanderson Farm, Country Club of Jackson. Some shorter irons. Like you said, we've seen Armour win here. We've seen Peter Malnati and then Sergio and Cam Champ recently. So it's pretty mixed bag. I prefer to lean towards the distance still overall as a deciding factor, but obviously it's not necessary. It turns into a bit of a putting fest, approaching 20 unders normally. So kind of mix in a little more putting than I normally would on a given week, given how up and down that can be.
Yeah, well, that's how Sergio's ball striking in tee to green was so good last year. And if you go back and look at the numbers, he gained, I think, 2.3 strokes putting. And that was enough for him because he struck it so well the entire week. Then you start looking at the other winners. It's like, 8 strokes game putting, 9 strokes game putting. So if you try to factor in some of those guys that have those spike putting weeks, that could be the route that you want to go to. But the pricing's a bit tricky here. Unless you have some really legit sleepers you like this week, I don't know how many guys I'm really going to play from above $10,000. Because right now I'm seeing I got Burns. He's the most expensive at $11,000. He came third here once. That's a weird thing about this course too. You just go back and look at everyone. No one really has a great course history. Even the guys that have come 1 or come in second, they missed the cut the next year. So it's a really random tournament. Maybe because it's so easy. So you got Burns, Zalatoris, Sergio, who is apparently still in the field, Sung Jae, and then Corey Connors. That's the entire list above $10,000. Now on paper, obviously, Zalatoris and Sergio are Zalatoris probably is the best well-rounded game for here, maybe Sung Jae, but this course screams Corey Connors to me.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is where Connors had a solid run at it a couple of years ago. His terrible putting worries me, obviously. I was looking at him, his upside is just so limited. He hardly gets any top 5s, plenty of top 20s. It's just at 10-1. Do I want to risk him maybe gaining half a stroke on the greens per round? It finds that very difficult for him. Sergio, you mentioned, managed to do it. When I was looking through the data, he was the only golfer to gain less than 1.5 strokes putting around since like 2015 or thereabouts. So again, he just smashed it tee to green. So I don't know. I'm torn. I do like Burns, the 11K. Like you said, though, there's not a lot at the bottom of this field that I was loving upon the initial look. So I think I'm actually maybe leaning Sungjae. I would be interested in Garcia. I don't know if I'm letting the Ryder Cup emotional letdown get in the way of me playing him. That is very possible, but I think I would lean 10K range Sungjae. And I don't know if he might be the least popular in this range. I'm not sure. He's good enough off the tee. The irons are always there. We've seen him roll putts in plenty. So I think he could be a little sneaky if you're going to go this route in the 10K range.
Well, the best putter of all these guys is Burns. He just happens to be $11,000. And I think you do want to concentrate your lineups, whether it's 3 guys in the six or like 110, 19, 18. Like once you take an $11,000 guy, like you're going down to, Sabatini, and I mean, my guy Grayson Sigg is up there. Maybe we can play him. I don't know. Steven Yeager, like guys who in principle could be good plays, but you would not feel comfortable with any of these guys in your lineup.
No, like I said, I plugged in a few of these guys in the 10K, even high 9Ks. There were some guys I really liked, and it dropped the average price remaining pretty quick. And it gets really thin. I mean, if you're big on the Corn Ferry Tour guys, maybe you have some more knowledge. I mean, I know some of them. It's not something I follow deeply like I do Euro and PGA, but I mean, perhaps somebody's going to dip and want to play Thigala or Vincent Whaley, who we all loved a couple months ago. I just find it very, very hard. Like it really hurt to build some of those lineups with using anybody in this range.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. So I'm probably just going to go Connors, maybe Sungjae, but even Connors at the very high end. The one saving grace that he does have, and maybe it will end up coming through, he'll never have that spike putting week, so he has to play the Sergio route if he's going to win this tournament. But all of his best putting performances, I think, in the past 2 years have come on Bermuda.
No, that's a fair point. And like I said, he's done it. He's shown up here before. It's really hard for me, even on any other week, to just spend up on a guy who could easily miss the cut due to simply how bad he is in one of the strokes gained categories. Plenty of top 20s, though. It's just tough for me at 10-1.
It's true. And we've seen, like I said, the favorite rarely does super well here. Like Sergio won last year. I think he was 60-1.
Yeah, he was not, he was in a bit of a funk, if I recall. I don't remember exact form, but it was not pretty.
So the 9Ks, I'm guessing you're doing it because I'm doing it because I've already made the bet and I'm going to play them on DraftKings. I think that makes us the same as everyone else in the world playing Mito this week.
Yeah, I haven't bet it yet, but obviously if I go this high, it's hard to fade, right? I mean, like you just said, he will be the most popular. I think that is the reason to fade. It's still very difficult. I already bet him in a few head-to-head matchups. I found him at some decent odds at a few books, and I don't know. I don't know if people or the books anyway were thinking he was regressing, but at 9-9, I think it's hard. I mean, you can easily start your lineups there, and you don't have to dip into the scary zone all that much. And it's hard to disagree with the results, right? I mean, he got the call up for the 3 wins, the Battlefield promotion or whatever they call it. 3rd place at the Fortinet Championship. I mean, 6th and 5th in his few other PGA events. I don't know. It's hard not to like, right?
And this is the sort of field that he would probably excel in. This is more like a Corn Ferry field, or even when he showed up at Barbasol and did well, it's a lot like those field. And the one thing that really differentiates him outside of Burns is he's really one of the only guys above $9,000 who putts well on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I was seeing that too. And again, I it sounds odd maybe to a lot of people to talk about the putting, but it's just, you look at how well they putted in this event. I think it's easier to bank on guys who historically and long-term putt well, obviously, than like you said, we were discussing Connors. I mean, I'll go $200 cheaper, get a guy who's still playing very well, already has a handful of top 5s that Corey Connors had, same amount as he had last year. Yeah, it's hard for me to go above the 900 or 9,900 when he's sitting right there.
Yeah, the other one who sticks out, actually there's 2 modeling wise, just per the stats if I'm sorting on Fantasy National. And you can get Mito at 28-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook or 33-1 at alternate locations, which I ended up taking because I don't have access to, I would support DraftKings Sportsbook by betting the 28-1 if I had access, but I don't. So I have to bet the 33. So I'm sorry about that one. I think you can find that one out there, though. Chuck Hoffman and Harold Varner, per the numbers, do really well. Siwoo is actually really up there as well in terms of the overall like rankings when you look at everything that means a lot here. But I don't know if I buy into Varner at all. Like, I don't like lately he's been a really good putter. That's not something that's been a part of his repertoire over his career. I'd probably just go with like the Chuck Hoffman, Kevin Streelman old guy range instead. Like Streelman is like the old man version of the types of guys that win this tournament, like the Ryan Armours or the Malnati's. Like they don't hit it very far. They hit every single fairway. They're really good with their wedges. Can they get lucky on the greens? That's the entire game here.
Yeah, Streelman's weird. He rates out well for me also. And it's just one of those guys. It's like, do I really want to play Kevin Streelman? And I do this to myself plenty throughout the year, where I just find it really hard to stomach and play some of these older guys, even though I know they can come out. Like Stuart Sink won twice last year. I'm not saying Streelman will win twice, but it's not impossible. We see these careers last longer and longer. These guys find form. I don't know if part of it's technology or just keep better health these days. You mentioned Harold Varner. I don't know. I get him wrong every time. I play him every time he misses a cut, and I miss his top 20s. So like you said, he feels like he would play well here. That 9,200 range. I mean, Cameron Tringale rates out pretty well. He's just really, really bad off the tee, which is something I actually think has shown some importance here in the past. So it's kind of hard for me to stomach that too at 9,400. But overall, he was sitting pretty high of the 9K guys for me as well. So I don't know. I honestly could play Siwoo, Tringale. I could play Varner. I just don't know if I want to. Like, it's one of those guys where I'll just let him. If he hurts me, he hurts me. I don't seem to nail HV3 very often. And you mentioned Chuck Hoffman too. For the longest time, everything but his irons had been ailing him. And I don't know what he finally found. He was finally getting some top 10s last year, which he had gone, it seemed, years without getting. And the ball striking's still there. So I could definitely go back to Hoffman at 9K as well.
Yeah, he makes a ton of birdies. That's sort of the Siwoo method too. Like he makes a ton of bogeys and a couple like quints throughout the weekend, but he makes a ton of birdies. Like he's always giving himself, he's either in the water or he's 10 feet from the hole. Those are the two Siwoo outcomes that you can get. So I'm not going to bet Siwoo because his odds are just devastatingly bad this week, which usually means he wins the tournament. So I will play him on DraftKings along with Mito. And then I think that I'm going to go with Chuck Hoffman at 9,000. The guy that in my mind should play well here, but just he's been really bad recently, is Cameron Davis. Because if you go look at who's played well at like Rocket Mortgage in here, that kind of crosses over as well. And obviously, he won there earlier this year. And when he plays well, he's perfect for this course. It's just when he doesn't play well, he's so bad. He has zero consistency. It's almost like the Cam Tringale thing, right? Where if he was $7,700, I don't mind that he comes T23. But now he's in the nines. Like, I just feel like his driving's so bad that he's not going to win.
Yeah, he's weird too. Like you mentioned, that you go through his results and he's got the win at Rocket Mortgage, and it's been nothing. I don't think he doesn't have a top 25 since then. I don't know if he had one prior to that, really. RBC Heritage, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if I could stomach Cam Davis again with Hoffman right there at 9K. And if you filter the field, I think if you go 50 rounds, filter the field, Hoffman's one of the best ones, just strokes gained total of that time frame in this field. So again, at 9K, I think I'd feel better playing him than Streelman as well. Seamus Power at 8,800. If you dip a little lower, again, not the best off the tee. I don't know if these guys, he won. I don't know if that stress of finally winning, he had been playing so great leading into that, and then he finished 60th and 31st. I don't know if that's just him like relief. You got your card. But I think I could get behind Power here. What are your thoughts on Griot? He is somebody I think has popped up here before, if I remember his course history, but another scary short game guy.
Yeah, a short game doesn't really worry me too much. He's come top 40 both years that he's played here. He lost almost 6 strokes putting one year, and then he lost again the next year, but not as much. So he's the exact prototype of the guys that we talked about who have won here, except he can't putt. That's always just going to be such a problem for him when it gets to these, if Griot wins again, and it's been a long time since, I think it's 2014, his first ever start when he won. I feel like Heritage is a course where he could win because you could theoretically win that at -8. Like -8,
Yeah.
I feel like he can do. -22.
And he's played well there, yeah.
Yeah, -22 is just so tough for him because he'll get to like -16. It'll be 2 shots
Right.
off the lead. It's like, oh, he's at -10 all of a sudden. What happened? It's like, oh, he missed 3 2-foot putts. Great.
Right. And that's where I guess where the putting comes in, right? Like you can't get to -20 if you're not rolling in the birds. So I guess I hear you there. That kind of brings me to this whole range with Ortiz and Wolf. Garrett, like I kind of just skipped over the 8K range, to be quite honest.
Don't do it. Play Matthew Wolf.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Because Wolf is like JB Holmes in a weird way. He's not as bad of a putter as JB Holmes, but when Wolf putts well, he putts incredibly well. He's not like
That is true.
He's not like a 2 strokes gain type of guy. He's like a +7.5. And you know that it seems like the driver is back of all things, which is going to be his main weapon. So if we try to build the Cameron Champ formula, and I know that we're going to do that with a guy that we both like a little bit later on, but Wolf is sort of like the high end of that guy because we know that the irons can show up too. It's just which Wolf are you going to get? Like 8,500, he could be any price in this field, and I would play Matthew Wolf because of if he shows up and plays his best golf, I think that he's the best player in the field. But he just plays that golf so rarely that it's tough. Like it was so disheartening to see Hovland and Morikawa play on the Ryder Cup team. And I love Morikawa. I love Hovland. Morikawa has won me a ton of money. But Wolf's my guy. And I think that he is just as good as those guys. It's just he's really bad far more often than those guys are.
Yeah, he has not found his consistency. Yeah, when they all came into the at the same time there into the tour, I mean, they really weren't differentiated. In fact, he had the biggest light shown on him, if you will. And he's the best GPP player, right? He's exactly what you want. It's first or last. I mean, he's finished very well in some big tournaments. You know, he's got it in there. Like you said, I think he convinced me at least to roll him. I mean, he's got to be in a few. You're right. He does fit the profile that I'm looking for too. He can roll the ball, and he is a very strong driver of the golf ball. So yeah, I think you talked me into Wolf here because I was going to skip pretty well this range. Mr. Autumn himself, Patton Kizzire, maybe could have found himself onto a few lineups for me. Again, some of these guys, I really avoid them throughout most of the year. And then you get to the fall and it's like, well, I gotta play some of them. Right. And Kizzire has been okay off the tee. The irons have been really, really bad though, but yeah, good putter. Like he kind of fits something I'm kind of looking for. It's a stretch.
Yeah, well, Roz is not here to make the case for Aaron Wise, so maybe we can skip over him. Although, he started to show up
again, he got
better,
the profile, I guess, that I mentioned off the tee. I don't know. Honestly, it's a lot of like mental fortitude for me this week to like just suck it up and play. Like I gotta have to play somebody I'm not comfortable with, right? So. Yeah,
well, so make it Wolf because I bet Wolf at 60-1 as well. He's down to 40. Okay. He's down to 40-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I just saw the 60, and I was like, if he putts, he could win this. That's all I really care about at this tournament because his skill set is so high. The other guy who's kind of like that, and as Raza would point out, he is European Griot, and I am playing him at $8,000, and I also bet him to win. It's Matthias Schwab because he is like that armor profile type guy. Fairways, irons, pray he makes some putts.
Yeah, he has hurt me in so many ways over the years, and now he gets to do it on the PGA Tour. So I'll be right there with you. I mean, I can't quit Schwab. He finds himself in my lineups far too often. Maybe he'll find a better flat stick, better putting coach in America. I'm not sure, but he's gonna need it to stay on tours. So hopefully he starts off with a bang here because 8K. He is a guy where I think if he could start rolling, you won't necessarily get him at 8K too much in fields like this. I feel like he's a good enough player. Well, he will start to creep into the 9s in a field like this if he can keep rolling. And another not no-namer, but a new guy to the tour down here I liked as well was Taylor Pendrith at 7,800. Just crushes the ball, putts well, but doesn't do much else. So like you mentioned beforehand, the Cam Champ route. So I think that's somebody, maybe he'll go in the same lineup as Wolf. We'll just go all out with that particular lineup.
Yeah. The fans of the Pat Mayo experience know my love for Canadian Taylor Pendrith. And I never really get behind Canadians, although I'm going Connors and Pendrith this week. Because I see the exact same thing that you do. He's number 1 in this field off the tee, and it's not even particularly close. And
Nope.
the putting is not bad. Like you said, when you follow him on the Corn Ferry Tour, you see these like spike performances. Like, and it's usually like, oh man, he must have gained like 9 strokes putting. It's like, no, he gained his normal like 3 or 4. He actually just didn't lose 6 with his irons this week. So if he can just play neutral to the field with his irons, do everything else the way he normally does, I don't see why he can't take advantage of a course that's a par 72. One of the holes can be, you can make eagle on them. You can drive another one of the par 4s. Like, if you can harness your driver this week and you have the length, it's a huge advantage.
Yes. And like you said, it was actually surprising because he had some RBC Canadian stats from way back, 2015, 14, and he putted well in those too. Because I was kind of, you don't really find too many elite drivers of the golf ball who managed to roll it. And again, it's not a huge sample, but it's nice to go back even that far and see that he can roll enough in, give himself a chance. Like you said, it's the irons, but again, big upside with him, I think. So 7,800 for sure. Cause again, it starts getting really thin for me down here.
Yeah. If we're going to play that game, if like Wolf is a target of mine, if Pendrith is a target of mine, I feel like Keith Mitchell should also be a target of mine too. Bermuda Keith.
Yeah.
He's another one. Like, even if you go back and just look at his past 4 outings, like 2 of his outings, he gained over 5 strokes putting. Like, it happens for him just randomly out of nowhere. We know he's going to drive the ball well. Can he do the other things? Maybe. It's happened before. I wouldn't count on it, but putting, driving, it's going to get you a lot of birdies. And I don't think anyone's going to play him.
No, and he slides right in there, with Pendrith and Wolf, just a bunch of guys who can mash the ball off the tee, gain a ton of strokes there. And like you mentioned, he's gained a ton of strokes putting, and he's always been a pretty solid putter, right? So I mean, I guess not always. He comes and goes, but the upside's definitely there. And again, you're in the high 7K range. If you're gonna play any of these 10K guys, you're gonna at least have a few of them. So I think you're right. If we're rolling Pendrith, we're probably rolling Keith Mitchell out there with him as well.
Yeah. The only other one down here is like Joseph Bramlett, who is on a really nice run right now. I just never play him.
No, he's somebody I overlook quite a bit too. But coming off pretty happy times on the Corn Ferry Tour for him. I don't know what to make of him, honestly. I see the name quite a bit. I know he can play, but again, me not following the Corn Ferry quite as closely as the other tours. I know he's a pretty solid ball striker. He has enough PGA Tour stats as well from this past season, so you can look through the strokes gained and at least have a pretty solid picture. Doesn't look like the putting's all there, but the rest of the game is. So I think I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I could definitely see it.
Yeah, you could do him. You could do Doug Gim. Who are others? Some favorites. Luke List is in this tournament. You can throw him in there. Aaron Wise can be a part of that build too. Just the Griot, just the all irons, all driving, can't putt team. Maybe it will just eventually work out for you this time around. But other than that, like once we drop below there, like what would you focus on from here on out? Like one elite skill set? Would it be driving? Would it be putting? Would it be irons? Because like Mac Hughes is down here. And he can make 60 footers with the best of them.
I think so. I like the distance angle. However, when you're getting down into these guys, I kind of I don't want to say it's all gut. I look at what the model spits out. I think I would lean a little more iron play just because if you miss a lot of greens here, you're just toast. They're easy to hit. So if you're missing them, you're done. And so I think I'd like to focus a little more on the iron play. Someone actually who I probably will play at 7,300 is Lucas Herbert from Australia. We've seen him a lot on the European Tour, winner earlier this year. Had a nice little run on the PGA Tour as well with Travelers and Memorial. Going to make the jump over the pond this year and play a lot of PGA. Again, not the strongest off the tee. He's serviceable, but a strong irons and good putter. So I think that's where we'll focus and hopefully keeps the ball in play. The rough's not too penal in the past at this particular course. So hopefully doesn't have too much to worry about. Just don't hit it out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, the accuracy is never really his thing. I think we both hit him when he won over was it Ireland earlier this year?
It was Ireland before. Yep.
Yeah, and
then I played him in the Open and he missed the cut. Yeah.
Yeah, watching his final round with him trying to protect the lead over in Ireland, it was just, he's in the middle of the trees off the tee. Oh, he's in the middle of the trees again off the tee. It was like, this is happening to me every single week in Euro. I have the guy who should win by like 8 strokes and he just keeps Like the week that Guido lost to Bland in Britain.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
Those putts he hit. Oh yeah. That is a tough tour to hit winners. And when you do, it's a miracle. It feels like it more so than on PGA, but yeah, he is somebody I played quite a bit. I think he'll be fine. I think I'm going to avoid his counterpart though, Aaron Ray down here. Ray, I honestly can never remember how to pronounce that. I don't think he has enough pop for me or the irons quite yet, but I'm glad to see that he did come over here as well. And yeah, another Euro guy down here, Matt Wallace too. This is the Euro zone, I guess.
It is.
None of them really.
I'm surprised about, and Lipsky's down here too. Appy Barnrat's playing in this tournament, coming off gagging away at Wentworth. But Wallace, I mean, I played Wallace at like 8,200 in real events last year, and he wasn't bad. What has happened to Matt Wallace?
I honestly think he's a bit of a head case. I don't know if that's the entire reason for his recent departure of solid golf. He definitely had a window there. Yeah, I don't really have a great explanation for it, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's all mental or what, but he definitely seems to get in his own way, in his own head from time to time on the course. So maybe that's what he's going through now. I'm not entirely sure, but not someone I've been playing a lot of lately. But again, there's no one else really down here. You mentioned Appy Barnrat. I don't know. He found it out of nowhere, it seems, for the KFT, carried it over to Europe though. I guess you could roll the dice on him again. Maybe he needs the money for his shoe collection. I don't know.
But by the numbers, Norlander rates out great.
Yeah, of everybody down here, strong irons. I mean, you could do a lot worse. Strong off the tee too, actually. Now I wouldn't have guessed that. I guess doesn't really think of Norlander. I don't think that, but looking at the numbers really quick, he's been strong off the tee of late, I guess.
Yeah, he's gained off the tee in 6 of his past 7, and the one he didn't was the playoff. Like, he played poorly in the playoffs. Like, no shit. That Henrik Norlander is not going to be great against the best players in the world. But these other events, like he's playing the scrub events, Palmetto, Travelers, Rocket Mortgage, John Deere, Barbasol. He's making the cut every time, and sometimes you see a spike iron week, like 7.6 strokes gained. At Barbasol, gained a few on the greens, and all of a sudden he's in 5th place. Like, he seems, I like your Herbert call. I do worry about his driving, but I think I'm going to go with Norlander at 72 as well. I played Svensson last time, which was great through 3 rounds. Then he just couldn't get out of his own way in the 4th round. I mean, he's like not a bad player.
No, and he's coming back from the KF. Yeah, he spent some time in the KFT last year. I don't really know much about it. I mean, I know he won recently. Don't remember the name of the event, sorry, but I know he won on the KFT recently, I thought.
Yeah, he won the nationwide, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, so I guess that's probably mentally pretty solid. Now you're back on the big tour. I think, so this is where it gets tough for me, because then I'll look and I'll see a name like Adam Hadwin at 7K. And it's like, I know internally, like, he's not the same player that I think of him when I first started doing all this. And he won for me at 90-1, and that felt great. And I love him forever for that. But like, you go through his recent results though, and it's miscuts, 10th, 6th, miscuts. He mixed in an 8th in there. So I don't know, when he finds it, he's found it pretty well for the entire week. It's just hard to imagine him finding it right now. But if he does, of the people down here, I don't know. I feel like I could roll him in a few GPP lineups as well.
I wasn't joking about Grayson Sig, by the way. I think that he's not bad. Yeah. He makes every cut essentially that in every tournament that he plays in. And now that we're down here, we're just trying to find someone to sneak through the weekend. And then I can get behind my guy Sig. He's probably smoking cigs on the course. That sounds great. He's gained off the tee in each of his past 4 PGA events, at least gained with his irons in 3 of the past 4 over a stroke in those. Gained around the greens, gains putting his last 2. Like, you're really throwing darts when you get down here, but at least this guy showed like a modicum of consistency. Yeah.
Oh, you could do a lot worse. I mean, I always find myself playing Adam. Like, that's just somebody I seem to gravitate to in this type of range. And again, doesn't do anything particularly great, but he's consistent with the irons and the putting. So I guess, he makes enough cuts. I feel like that's another guy that I like to plug in down here. Maybe a Sepp Straka, going back up to the 7Ks though a little bit. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It gets real thin for me. There are a lot of names down here that I just don't play very often.
This could be a tournament to do that, though. So when we get to the 6K range, again, smash the like. Give me your favorite play in the 6Ks. You talked about Vince Whaley a little bit earlier. Brian Stewart's the type of guy that could play really well at this event. If it's just fairways, irons, let's go make some putts. Feels like that's something that he could do. Bryce Garnett is another one who's just directly in that mold. Jog Augustine actually played really well at the Fortnite is what I'm going to continue to call it because I don't want to have to remember it. Hopefully it's a one and done in terms of sponsor names. But he was supposed to be really good, and then he wasn't good at all. But then all of a sudden he shows up. It's like, okay, did we just have to wait a year for him to get his, like, I think he's still playing on sponsors exemptions at the moment, and he's going to need to make some moves in these events. What was he? I think he was third in Napa. He was sixth. Yeah, gained across the board. The irons were immaculate. The irons are always good. It's just really his driving that's not all that great, but it seems to be getting solved a little bit. Like, this guy is of the highest pedigree when it comes to amateur players.
Yeah, and I think again he fits the profile I'm looking for of this low end. Like I'd rather have strong iron play here. You'd be serviceable off the tee. That would be nice. Like, I don't need you to be a complete train wreck, which John has been, but I don't know. His last 3 outings have been pretty strong on the PGA Tour, so it's hard to argue with that. Another guy, I guess, way down though at 6,400 would be Alex Smalley. I think he burned a lot of people. Not a lot. He seemed to be a name at the Fortinet Championship that I saw tossed around enough for these new KFT guys. Didn't play well at all, but has been strong in some of his few PGA Tour events leading up to that point, and pretty strong in the KFT. So I think Alex Smalley is another one at 6,400. Gives you a lot of room up top to play those guys we started off talking about.
Well, was he that guy at the Wyndham who was like a member at Sedgefield and he chipped everything in the entire week?
I honestly don't remember. I know he played well at Wyndham this year. Well enough, 29th. But
yeah, I think that was him. Oh my God, Austin Cook is back in the field.
Oh boy,
I love that guy. He was so good to me. It's just so funny to see some of these names.
I hit that winner as well. Yeah,
RSM.
It's a jog through memory lane for a few. Like, I mean, Fratelli's just sitting down here. It feels like
that's
just yesterday we were all playing him right after the Masters, right? Like, I guess, looking at that now, that is kind of strange. He has not been good. It's sometimes this is where it's like I don't play these old guys that are higher priced, and then I see all these names that I have become attached to over the years for odd reason or another. It's like, oh, I guess I could play him, and then you look at how bad he's been. It's like, maybe I shouldn't. It's I don't know. Like Trey Mullinex down here, that's a feel good story back on the PGA Tour.
I played him at.
I don't know if
I played him at Napa.
Translates. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kurt Kitayama, 6,300, just chilling down here. Again, that's a name though where I'd just play him, but he's been terrible. Like, he's just been flat out bad. So it's
well,
I don't know. There is not a lot down here.
Dewey Vanderwalt's in this field, and he popped at the PGA, but he plays primarily in Europe, doesn't he?
I'm trying to think. I honestly don't.
Is he a Sunshine Tour player?
He might be a Sunshiner.
I might get him confused with someone else then.
Daniel Van Tonder, maybe.
That is exactly who I'm thinking.
Okay,
all these South Africans.
He has been
confused.
Yeah, he's been very good on the European Tour this year.
So don't play Dewey Vanderwalt. Well, he has. Oh, look at this. 4 straight top 25s coming into his PGA. Oh, he was 22nd too, as well at Fortnite. Dewey Vanderwall, huh?
That's a new name to me, honestly. I couldn't have told you who that was. I saw his name and I was like, that's different.
All right, I'm clicking next to his name. He's making the short list. We'll see if he gets through to the final cut once I end up making my lineups. You mentioned T. Gala earlier. I think people just like play him because his name is T. Gala.
Yeah, I just like to bother Sky about it. Sky's been jumping on him since day one, so I like to razz him about that a little bit, but not somebody I'm overly interested in yet.
The numbers, for whatever reason, say Nick Watney and Anherban Lahiri, so I'm going to just not listen to the numbers on those two and just say, you know what? I'll be good. Although I did listen to them on my guy, Bo Van Pelt, that one time he came second. He won me a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the numbers get it right?
Yeah. That's why we run these things?
Yeah. Every once in a while, right? I mean, I guess if you're looking at the strokes gained total, I don't know, the Wu brothers down here, you could play Dylan, Brandon. I don't know. That's very, very thin. I don't really suggest that, but
are they actually brothers?
Could do a lot worse. No. The Felt like saying the Bash Brothers, good Mighty Ducks reference. But
well, let's see here. I just sorted by strokes gained off the tee over the past 24 rounds. So, all right, we're playing number 1 and 2. We got Pendrith and Mitchell in the lineup already. Swafford was someone who was good for 6 weeks. And then I played him at Napa, and he was awful. And then people played him in like the last leg of whatever the playoffs was. I think that he kind of killed everyone in that one. I can't quite remember. He was good in one of the playoff events when he was chalky, and then that was it. But he's still number 3. Sergio, Lahiri, I guess that's why he's so far up there. And then like Connors, Mito. Tyler Duncan is weirdly number 9 over the past 24 rounds. I would not have... You could give me everyone to guess in this field. It would not have been him.
I agree. I know you mentioned List in passing earlier, but we were talking about really good drivers and terrible putters. I mean, he obviously fits that lineup very well also.
Look, I tried to go this entire time without recommending to play Doug Gim, but Doug Gim's the play,
right?
Isn't he?
I mean, like, once again, I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and just eat. Yes, I think Doug Gim can be just fine here. Yeah,
did he
not going to be pretty, but...
Time? No, he missed the
Here?
cut. Yeah, he would know last time. It's just funny having the rider cup in
Fortinet,
between.
yeah.
Yeah, he missed the cut there. That wasn't great. Maybe I don't know. I'll end up betting him because I bet him every single week. Not great news for me here. Ortiz was better. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Him and Munoz.
I think I'm going to bet against Ortiz. Actually, I'm trying to think. I found a head-to-head against Ortiz that I took, but it's escaping me who it was. It might have been Mito, actually. Can't remember the line, but yeah, Ortiz, I don't know. I used to love playing him. Something's not there though.
He has lost the ability to putt. Like he was having these spike performances at the beginning of last year. Like he won Houston 6 strokes putting, Sony 5, Farmers 3, and that was only in 3 rounds. He goes to Phoenix, comes 4th, gains 7.5, 2.5, 3.9, and then since minus 3.8, minus 2, minus 5, minus 9. Well, that's not good. You can't be having that. Although the driving is still, maybe I should play Ortiz. Because if he just spent the last 3 weeks figuring out how to putt again, or just not be the worst, like he's kind of the perfect guy.
Yeah, and long term, he's a fine putter, right? I mean, I say fine, good enough putter. So that's kind of what I normally, on a normal given week, I normally just ignore how they've been putting. Obviously, I look at the long term, and if it's anywhere even near 0 or better, I'm cool with it. And like you said, the driving of the golf ball and the irons are still there. That's the important part, right? Like he hasn't necessarily lost his game. He's struggling on the greens. So I guess, a lot of personal discovery for my lineups during this show as well. I love that. So yeah, Ortiz, he can be on the short list for sure.
Yeah, we're here to talk it through, try to find the plays.
Absolutely.
It's not like play this guy. What about this guy? Let's see if he's any good. Carlos Ortiz, 3 starts at CC of Jackson in his career. Miscut 4th and 3rd. Not bad.
I mean, yeah, I think we've talked me into another one here too.
Ortiz. What are Ortiz's odds? That's probably something I should look up. He sounds like a good bet if his odds aren't ridiculous.
Ortiz is 40 on DraftKings.
I have a 50-1 lingering right here. I should probably check that other book that I use that just offers up ridiculous odds, and I had a ton of money on it because I made a lot of Canadian election bets, which they were offering at complete opposite prices of every other book. So it's like, oh, let's just dump all our money on this site and bet on this. Free money. It worked out.
Right.
So I can go look up Carlos Ortiz after the fact. Did you do much? Have you looked into the Alfred Dunhill at all?
I started to pull some Alfred Dunhill. I was curious though, because I saw Finau was in that field and I was wondering if he was going to pull, but I didn't see DraftKings list him. Okay. So I did miss that news. That's a shame. Maybe I'll let Billy Ho. Billy Ho won me, $20,000 last time he played in Europe. So maybe we'll ride old Billy back, at the Alfred Dunhill again. And I saw Troy Merritt made his way over there as well.
Yeah.
So, of all the random PGA.
Yeah, that's weird. He pulled out of Sanderson Farms to go play in the Alfred Dunhill. Can you explain to people what the Alfred Dunhill is? This Alfred Dunhill?
Yeah, so this one, not the South African one, is a links event. They play it. Put me on the spot. I know it's St. Andrews. I forget the other two. One maybe Kingsley or Kings. Forget all the courses. But it's like I think this is like a pro-am for them as well. So they play the first 3 days, rotate through 3 pretty famous links courses in Scotland. Shane Lowry is the favorite at 12-1, which kind of struck me as a little odd. I don't know. Maybe they're thinking he's going to ride the emotional wave from from the Ryder Cup, which he seemed to thoroughly enjoy. I love that though. I mean, I loved what I saw from all those guys. I thought it was a pretty solid week, but overall, I haven't made a bet yet, but I'd be remiss to come on the show and not mention that Guido is playing this week. So he will be on the card at 50-1. I think I'd look at historically who plays well at this event, though. We've seen some of the same names pop up. I'm actually surprised Hatton's not coming over. He has done very well at this event.
Yeah,
in the past.
He won in 2016, won in 2017, and was second with Tommy Fleetwood in 2018 when Lucas Perry...
Oh, he is here. Sorry. He is here. 16-1.
He's 16-1.
Well, DraftKings gave him an odd. I must have missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. He's 60. So it's Lowry, Fleetwood, Horschel, Hatton, Noren, and then you get like Peters, Grace. Grace has won this before as well. They're both 25-1. Then Victor Perez, Dietrich, Horsfield. Bobby Mack is down at 35-1. I mean,
I think that's doable, and he's shown obviously loves to play the links courses. So
yeah, so it's what was the Kings one that you said? Yeah, Kingsbarn, Carnoustie, and St. Andrews.
Carnoustie, yes. I knew I was missing another big one.
Is the 3-course rotation here? I just remember Justin Rose playing with Justin Timberlake one year in the program. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, Carnoustie's not quite Carnasty for this one. They set it up pretty nice for the amateurs, obviously, but I still love watching these courses on TV. Like it's just awesome. I've already seen them all posting all their photos from being over there. Just makes me ready for another Open already. So
do we go to like Nicholas Hogard? Like, why wouldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, he's been playing very well. What is he sitting at? 70-1. That is
like, would you rather bet Nicholas Hogard or Troy Merritt for the same price?
I honestly would maybe bet both, but for some reason, I do find PGA guys tend to play pretty well when they come over. Even the no-namers tend to play pretty well when they come over to some of these events. And I remember Merritt has come over here before. He played the Switzerland one at Kranzer. I forget the Omega Masters. Like he's come over and played that before. So he there must be something. I think he's played in Germany too. He must enjoy coming over here, but no, Hogard is probably the better, smarter bet at 70-1.
Yeah, so if you want to get a full breakdown, Sky and Tom will on the European Tour Picks and Bet show. We'll have the full Alfred Dunhill Links Championship, not the Alfred Dunhill Championship, the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I'll probably end up going on. Oh, geez, Laurie Cantor's playing as well. This tournament's going to take all my money. That's not great.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid field.
Let's talk about some bets for just overall golf bets this week. I bet Mito at 33, Wolf at 60, Schwab at 60. I might get talked into this Ortiz at 52. Why? What do the books know about Taylor Pendrith? Do they just know that I'm going to bet him, so they make him the worst odds possible?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he got hit somewhere before I saw openers or what, but I was surprised at how low that was. Unless they're profiling it the exact same way. 50-1 did seem a little low. I was kind of hoping I'd open the book and find him at a nicer, higher number. That was shocking to me as well. I mean,
he was like that the last time out too, though. It's like you think that he would like, let's start Pendrith off at like 150-1 with the rest of the Corn Ferry guys. Like, no. He's going to be 55. What? Why?
Yeah, I don't. That one is kind of shocking to me. I assume somebody must have popped that and they kept him there from last week. Maybe that's really my only explanation as to why he's sitting there. I know you mentioned Mito when we were talking DFS at 28. I'm probably gonna have to look heavily into that. I don't think I'm gonna get below that, but I feel like I'd really be sad if I missed out a Mito win with everybody else. So I think 28-1. It's a solid enough number. I probably make it a little higher, but with these outrights, there's so much different luck involved that I don't mind hitting a few numbers that are slightly off. Even if I think it should be a hair larger. I'll probably bet Herbert too at 80, I believe. You must shop around for that, but I know he's sitting at 80 at DraftKings.
Yeah, he's sitting at 80 at DraftKings. I'm staring at 111-1 right now, though.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's someone else that I'll probably get to further on down here. Again, it's been really hard to pull the trigger on some of these numbers. So like I opened the book, like we talked about. So Wallace is sitting down at 60 some odd hundred on DraftKings for DFS. And he's at 80-1 outright. I don't know. That seems low to me though. Like I feel like he should be in the hundreds at the way he's been playing. Schwab at 65 seems tempting. See, I'm just getting sucked into all these guys that I would bet in other events.
Yeah, like
if
they were at the Alfred Dunhill, you would bet them.
Yeah. Yep. And honestly, I mean, this field isn't exactly, it's deeper, but I mean, he's played in plenty of fields like this that I've probably bet Schwab at worse numbers. So
is it a worse
65 is tempting?
I mean, it's a better field.
No, I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying, yeah. No, I'm saying I bet Schwab at worse numbers and probably better fields in past European events for sure. So this field shouldn't be too bad. But
I should almost blindly bet Adrian Moronk because that guy is my guy, Poland's finest, because he's very distinguishable when you see him on the course.
He's yes, he is very unique look.
I'm trying to find anyone here at the bottom. Is anyone just randomly play his man? Lucas Beauregard, 150-1. The only reason that I said Nikolai Hogard was because Danes have played really well at this competition in the past. I don't know what it is.
I feel English in general, the Northern European countries, Nordic countries, English have seemed to have not a stranglehold on the event, but yes, they have definitely shown up. I've noticed that as well. I don't know if that's, it's getting a little chillier here. I live in Michigan. I'm sure it's a little chillier there over. Well, it's always chillier there over in Scotland. So I don't know if that's part of it, if they're just used to that. It sounds almost too simplistic, but then you look at the results. Sometimes it's hard to argue with.
So Mito, Wolf, Schwab, I'm in on already. I'll probably get in on Pendrith, maybe Gim as FOMO bets, but I am looking at Hogard at 70-1. I'll bet that over in Euro, and I might bet Bobby Mack as well. I want to listen to Sky and Tom first, though, and see if they have some guys like Johan Vermeens, who played really well at, I want to say it was the Open Championship, but it might have been the U.S. Open. Now I totally forget, but I think it was at the Open Championship because he plays well at links courses.
Johannes has been good to me over the years. He's another guy who just seems to putt very well too. Finally found some form this year, got it done. So I was happy to see him get a victory this year over on that tour. So
problem is he's 45-1.
Yeah, I'm not betting that, but he's a DFS favorite. When they post those contests, that may be somewhere to look to play him.
So you won the 20K at Wentworth, right? On DraftKings?
Correct.
So who was in the rest of that lineup?
I honestly don't remember exactly who all I played. All I remember is I played Billy Ho at 1%, and that was pretty well what got the job done for me.
Why wasn't anyone on Billy Ho?
I don't know. He had been playing pretty well on the PGA Tour. I honestly can't tell you why. I forget who else was up. There was someone else who sucked. Oh, Victor Hovland sucked all the ownership. That's who it was. I knew there was someone up there. I liked Vic, but I knew the entire world was going to play him in that $555 GPP. So I didn't think I'd get Billy at 1%, but I was quite happy when I did. And then, the magic happened and he pulled it off for me. So that was nice. It's nice to hit the nuts on the 1 or 2 times a year that we get large European tour contests. So
I went and looked at the early ownership up at fantasynational.com, and we're recording this on a Monday evening, so this will not be the case by the time it comes over. But I think it's good to see who people's first clicks are always going to be, if they're going to generate lineups or star them. Charlie Hoffman, Seamus Power, Sung Jae, Mito, Shez Reavie, who I don't even think we brought up, and then Lahiri at $6,200.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you brought up Lahiri too, right? So there must be something showing up for him. I overlooked Lahiri as well. He didn't show up for anything for me.
Yeah, the stats really liked him. I think it's because his off the tee game is very good. Yeah, he's gained an 8 straight off the tee, averaging around like 2.3 strokes gained per event. Hey, let's see. He's made 3 cuts in a row. He made the playoffs last year? Playoffs. All right. He's another guy who, if he's putting well, he's going to putt amazingly for a week.
Yes.
But normally he loses 5 strokes.
Right. So I did look it up really quick. I guess I got to play Schwab. He was in my 20K lineup as well. So it was Horschel, Bezadenhout, Schwab, Bland, Kohornen, and Kawamura. So I guess those are my guys now too, tied to all them.
Miko, the Finnish flag.
Yeah.
There we go.
Little 3% Miko that week. So
yeah. So of all the top end guys, looking at it right now, let's see who people are not using. No one's using Keegan at all. He's like 1% so far. That's by far the lowest. Siwoo is the second lowest after him at like 9%. And then this like middle eights, the whole range that you said you were skipping over is also seemingly devoid. Below 10% right now, actually below 5% right now. Ortiz, Wolf, Woodland. CT Pan has yet to have anyone click on his name. So Schwab, 0%. Bramlett, 0.6. So at least early. At least early. And this is with how many members of... This is with 1,000 people favoriting players, so I wouldn't worry too much about it right now. Or 62 people have gone in and made their like selections, including me, of putting stars next to guys' names. But it does strike me as the contrarian build right now would be start with like Connors or Mito, and then just hit 3 of Ortiz, Wolf, Woodland, Pan, Schwab, Bramlett, Keith Mitchell, Pendrith. All those guys are below 5%. And then use whoever else you want.
Yeah, I might have to rethink skipping that because I always do the beginning, the very first clicks throughout the week. And then as the week goes on, I've definitely become more of a contrarian player over the last year or two. Seems to have worked out pretty well too. So it is hard to stomach sometimes, but you're playing for the big weeks, right? So, you know, that like in Europe, the 1 week will pay off your season and then you're free rolling, right? So, I think I'm gonna have to. I know you already talked me back into Wolf, so I might have to go reconsider Ortiz and Wise, I guess, in that same zone.
Oh no, people are using Wise.
Oh, Wise is
Why is Kazire and my guy Gim? People are actually going to. You know what? As we're speaking right now, I'm going to go bet Ortiz. I just want to make sure I get the best number here. Where are you at, Ortiz, on this other site? The one that always has the 44 to 1? No, thank you. I'll take 50 to 1. Thank you very much. Let's get on that one. Carlos Ortiz, 50 to 1. Let's do it.
Yeah, don't hate it.
In. So there, I think I have my entire card for the week now. Mito, Wolf, Schwab, Ortiz, and I might end up with like all like the random dudes I like to play. I might follow you on Herbert though. I like that.
Yeah, Mito, Herbert, and Schwab. I think be my first 3 clicks here.
All right. Yeah. Let everyone know what you are up to at FTN Daily.
Yeah. So every week I'll post, if you're into the betting side, I run my own model odds. I post those up. Obviously the picks come with that. Do some little PGA projections as well as a nice 7 under 7 article when you're looking for, that'll be a fun one this week with everyone down there. So yeah, if you follow me on Axis_DFS Twitter, you can get all the content links there as well. So yeah.
All right, I'll go in on Herbert, and you know what? I'm going to do Norlander too, because why not? 140 to 1. Done.
Oh, I've made way worse bets than that, so yeah.
PJ was easy this week. That was an easy one. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for being on the show, man. This is fun.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah. So we got Fantasy Golf Degenerates with Kenny and Tambo on Mayo Media Network. That's going to be out on Monday evening. You could probably catch it on Tuesday morning and the rest of the week, obviously. And European Tour picks and bets with the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship. You got Sky. You got Tom. A real live Brit is on the show, so he can probably tell you how much he hates Scotland or something like that. I don't know how they feel about it over there, but he knows a ton about golf. So, and he also doesn't sound like that. He has like one of those refined British accents, like he's Sherlock Holmes or something. Anyway, listen to Tom, listen to Sky, sub to the network. You can check it out over there. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!